Conservation groups say the Newman Government has wound back the clock 30 years with plans to let farmers shoot flying foxes. Let's go live now to reporter Tim Collins. And Tim, will this do anything for people with bats in their backyards?
Well, Georgie, not in the short term, but both the Premier Campbell Newman and his Environment Minister weighed into this story today. They say their decision to literally open fire on flying foxes is simply honouring a pledge made to primary producers made during the recent state election. Now, we're on the banks of the Brisbane River here at Indooroopilly, and behind me, Indooroopilly Island, where there is a large flying fox population. Normally, we were hoping, in fact, that they would be in full cry and taken to the air right now, but as is the want with live TV, we haven't seen a single bat. But this is an issue that is laced with emotion, depending on which side you take. These are the startling images in the skies over places like Charters Towers, Gayndah and Barcaldine most nights. Flying foxes, light dimming in their numbers and ear-piercing in their calls as they take to the air.
Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of urban development areas, a lot of food production systems almost being destroyed by bat colonies. Now,
farmers will be given the legislative green light to hit back with lethal force.
A number of farmers will be able to apply for lethal damage mitigation permits.
That's Polly speak for picking up a gun and shooting to kill in areas where rural food producers can prove they've tried all non-lethal methods to disperse the bats and failed.
This is about restoring balance.
And they've said, oh, the bats will only move somewhere else. That's my point.
It looks like we're revisiting the 1960s and 70s.
Despite ongoing research about links between flying foxes and diseases such as Hendra, conservationists like Les Hall say the government's response is crude and not based on good science.
Like, to kill an animal because you can't think of any other way to control it really means you've been outsmarted by that animal.
And despite images like these, bat protection groups argue species like the speckle and grey-headed flying fox are already endangered and could be wiped out with the stroke of a government pen.
Not at all. We're not talking about wide-scale reduction or culling of numbers.
Now, at this stage, there are no plans to issue those so-called lethal damage mitigation permits to people living in urban areas, but also the government concedes they are a long way from enacting this controversial legislation.
Thanks for the update, Tim Collins.